Okay, I'm going to do a little chat of what I've been doing over the last few days. Well, over the last few weeks, I've been editing pictures on. I've been doing a few photo shoots. So I've been editing pictures and I put them all on my Facebook. But yeah, just in the last few days, or last 2 days, I've been going just through loads of music songs, and I feel like I need to put them in order now. I've got on my channel, like, well, now I've got four categories. Before I had three, but they were in order, but the third one wasn't. But yeah, I. I've put all the songs that I like from least to worst, from one, two, three, all the way through. So I'm going through every single one of them, being like, which one do I prefer, those two or this one? And then if I prefer this one first, I'll put that one above, and then I'll compare that one with that one. And then I've been doing that throughout the whole of it. So I've listed all my favorite songs. I think there's now four groups. There's four categories, and each one has about 100 to 200 videos inside of it. But yeah, it's getting longer and longer. Like for the last few years, last 7 years, I've kind of believed that singers and celebrities have known about me through a guy called Martin Dodd, and I hated them because I felt like all their songs were either about things that I was talking about and they were releasing it straight after, or it was just about what I was going through, and I believed that they knew, and hence because of that I really hated them. And so I tried to like not like these. I didn't like these songs very much because I felt like it just caused me grief. But now that I kind of feel like I moved on from that, I feel like it's not anything to do with me. Maybe these generally have everything that I've seen. Maybe well, it must have been. That's kind of the conclusion that I've led. Everything that I've seen right now must have been a coincidence. How I said something and then listened to a song that they came out and they seem to back up with, almost feeling like they've heard of what I said. It feels like they've been watching the videos that I've been posting. But it's been 8 years, and or almost 8 years, and nothing happened. And so I'm just gonna move on from that and just think, what, everything I see must have been a coincidence. So now I don't hate the singers as much as I did, because they don't know who I am. They haven't done anything about me behind my back, and I still feel like something really weird is going on because of all the things that I've seen. But you know what? There's nothing I can do. So I'm just going to enjoy lockdown and go through all the songs and put them in order of which ones I like most to least. Well, I can't do all of them to most to least because there'll be millions of them, but I'll just do all my favorite. And yeah, it's really good. And I want to tell you why I think some of them are so good. Like there's a few that you'd be like, this isn't. Why do you think this is the best? Well, because I think all the celebrities, the singers and celebrities, represent a different side of the goddess. So basically, I feel like God. If it's not me, whatever, it's not. There was a potential that I thought that I was Christ because of some things that I've seen in the Power in the Name of Anna, which I've already made a video about. But yeah, it's not me, so I'm moving on from that. But I still believe what I believe, which is that Christ and God both each other, same people, really. Christ is just the God on earth, in a human form, and then God is sort of the same person, only has a better and bigger memory and stuff. But yeah, I still think that they're inspiring singers and celebrities to write songs that sort of say something, that give either advice or just say what God is like as a person, if she was a real person. And I feel like the different singers have different characters. So Gaga represents the devil. A lot of people say, "Oh, the devil is like bad and stuff." Well, it is, but at the same time, a lion kills a gazelle, and you can call it a lion a devil for killing the gazelle. But at the end of the day, you can't have too many gazelles in the world. A gazelle dying could actually be good because they can be reincarnated as something else, and the gazelle could become a lion in its next life, but it has to die first. So therefore, a lion killing a gazelle could actually be good for the gazelle, and it's good for the lion because the lion gets to eat. And this is just how life is. There's good and bad and everything. And the devil doesn't want people to suffer, but at the same time, through suffering, you learn how to be smarter, you learn how to change, you learn what suffering is, you learn how to feel and be sympathetic to other people suffering and stuff. So even through suffering, you learn stuff. So because of this, the God and the devil, I believe, are the same person, but there's two different sides, two different angles, two different perspectives. And I think she can see both perspectives. If you see a lion eating a gazelle, do you feel sorry for the lion or do you feel sorry for the gazelle? You could feel sorry for the lion because it has to do that to eat. If it doesn't do that, it's going to starve to death. Or you could feel sorry for the gazelle because it's just been eaten. And otherwise, and in the same way, you could be happy for the lion for, getting its food, and for catching its food, and you congratulate it, and you can be happy for the gazelle being like, well done, you're going to move on to the next stage in life, which is to get a new body or something else. So there's just so many complicated things. Even this pandemic, it's killing a lot of people, but at the same time, there's a lot of people, like a quarter of the people who are dying might be in care homes and are very old and could be suffering, and so them dying 2 years early might actually be a good thing, because then they can be reincarnated and have a nice new body and stuff. So it's like that. God and the devil are the same person, but they're different sides, different angles, different perspectives. I have many different perspectives. I can see different sides of it, and I love Gaga's songs so much, because if you listen to her songs, and don't imagine that this is Gaga singing, imagine this is actually the devil disguised as Dark Gaga singing. So there's sort of negative sides of it, and I love the Christmas tree. The only place you want to be is underneath my Christmas tree. Well, the Christmas tree kind of represents like the tree of life, and because she's the devil, she's kind of saying, the only place you want to be is underneath the Christmas tree. So she's basically kind of mocking people, saying, you want to be under my tree, but you don't know who I am, do you? But if you actually kind of listen to this and think, oh, this is the devil talking, oh my gosh, and then suddenly it's just, whether it's truth or not, whatever, I don't care. It's really good fantasy and a really good like imagination to just listen to Gaga's songs and pretend that this is the devil speaking, and then suddenly the whole sense can be seen from a completely different perspective. It's almost like you understand why it says what's said. There's some weird lyrics in there, and do you want her to unveil herself, be naked? Do you want her to be naked? And by naked, I mean exposed herself for who she actually is. And it's also talking about like how it's gonna put me on top on Christmas Day and stuff. So yeah, it's yeah, so she says like, light me up, put me on top, yeah, fa la 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 la. And you think, oh, it's yeah, put Gaga on top, fine, that doesn't mean that, whatever. But if you thought that was the devil speaking, light me up, put me on top, then suddenly that song becomes so cool, because it's like there's a hidden secret message within it. And then I believe God, Madonna represents sort of God. Okay, you might not think that God is like Madonna, but I think God is like Madonna. I think that God is sort of influencing Madonna's songs, and to be like her in the spirit. And she doesn't have that much power, but she is, I guess, sexually charged. Well, everyone is. I mean, if we're made in God's image, why and then why is the sex industry such a multi-million-pound industry? Obviously, it's because there's something about it that both people and God likes. I'm asexual, so I guess that's more evidence that it's not me. But there's obviously a big drive for it, and I think God is more like Madonna than the Christians' version of what God is like. But yes, and then if you got the different ones, I think Taylor Swift represents Allah, and Katy Perry represents the Dajjal. So there's a lot of trickery and a lot of half truths. When Katy Perry sings "I'll love you unconditionally," if you look at that and think, oh wow, that's, well, if it's Katy Perry singing, then it's like, oh, so what? You're not going to love me unconditionally. You're a singer who don't know me. But if you think this is God talking, you'll be like, oh wow, God's talking. God will love me unconditionally. But then when you realize, oh wait, that actually it's not God talking. This is actually God posing as the sort of the Dajjal, e.g., the liar, the trickster, the sort of antichrist version, the Muslim antichrist. But yeah, suddenly then it's like then that song makes much more sense, because it's like, I'll love you unconditionally. Actually I won't, because I'm the deceiver. I say things that aren't true. And so even when she's posing up as, I knew you were, come to me, now here you are, now you better choose carefully. She's saying choose me. She's in that song, that the Dark Horse song, she's saying choose me, because I'm the best, I can do all this, I have all this power, I'm amazing. But if you knew that actually that's the Dajjal talking, if you think that's God talking, then you'd be like, oh yeah, lead it, that looks good. But if you know actually that's the Dajjal talking, he's a trickster, she doesn't have all this power, God can't, turn humans into dogs or whatever she does, she's not this. Also, Katy Perry comes off as a kind of a monster in that film, in that video. And I don't think God's like that. But, I feel like there's going to be a time where people are told that God is singing through these songs, and the world is going to believe, and everyone's going to be sucked into it. And then after a little time, it's going to be revealed that actually these different characters represent different things. You know, Beyonce seems like she's the queen bee. She's definitely, she represents God or the Christ and something that's in power. But really, I don't think she does. You know, if you actually listen to her songs, you know, there's a lot of swearing, there's a lot of sex, there's a lot of, it's a bit over the top. You know, Madonna is sexy and it definitely does have a lot of sex drive, but it's not over the top. Whereas Beyonce stuff, some of it is over the top. And you know, it's who run this world, girls. Who run this world, girls. It's like no. God runs this world, not girls. To say girls run this world is to say that all humans all over the world run the world, which isn't the truth. So you know, I feel like there's a lot of deception in Beyonce. So she's like she's a false Christ. She represents a sort of false Christ. So I think all these different characters represent actually different things. And yeah, I just think it'll be so cool if you can. I put it on my Facebook page called The Third Testament. It's on a Facebook picture. If you go to my Facebook page and then you go to the albums and then you go to the Third Testament, I've got all the names of the different main singers and what I believe they represent. I think Rihanna represents the dark side of Christ, and Britney Spears represents the sort of the better side, but it's also a slightly crazy side. So the side that's just after her partner. There's going to be Christ and her partner, who she's going to be in love with, and I think a lot of the love songs are actually just about her feelings towards this guy who she fancies. Although I don't think the guy's that great. I mean, if you listen to some of Britney Spears' songs like Criminal and Radar and stuff, there's, it doesn't sound like the guy is that nice. And I think, I don't know, I can't say much about the guy, but if there is truth to these songs, I feel like they're about Christ and her partner. And there's also a lot of things they're about, God's feelings towards people, I think, but yeah, that's what I'm doing now. So I'm going through all the different singers. So like Madonna, I'll do them in twos because I like doing good and bad. So I'll do Madonna and Gaga, which is God and the Devil, and I'll put all my favorites of Madonna's songs and all my favorites in order of the Gaga songs. And if you want to listen to them and imagine that this is God talking, imagine this is the devil talking, and then with the Britney and Rihanna, you can do the same. Imagine this is a sort of the good Christ, or the better side of Christ singing, and then you've got the sort of darker, more colder side of Christ singing. So I feel like Christ would be a combination between Rihanna and Britney. Not them in person. We're not talking about them in person. We're talking about the character that they portray in the songs. So I feel like God is connecting through, please don't stop the music. Please don't stop the music. I feel like this is Christ's soul singing through these songs. And she's giving messages, and she's saying, please don't stop the music. Why? Because I'm connecting with you through the music. And I don't know, you don't have to believe it, but just try it. I'm going to go through, the next one will be, I'm going to eventually go through all the singers and put all my favorite songs in order, because I've got all these songs and I was trying to list for my favorite 1,000 songs in order, but it was getting really complicated, because I was like, when I get to if I haven't had a Britney song for a long time, say there's in the first 600, no, in the first 60, there was no Britney songs, and so I just kind of grabbed a random Britney song and thought, oh, I like that, I'll put that in the top 60. But then I kind of realized afterwards, actually, there are some better songs that I do prefer of Britney's, but I haven't included them in the list. So I'm trying to just get a really accurate list of my top 1,000 songs that I like most, and it's going to take a long time, but hey, we've got 3 months of lockdown to look forward to, so I'm going to keep myself very busy doing this.